And welcome back, my dear viewers, to the channel. It's Maverick here, and it is time for another episode of Monogatari Mondays. So today we watch episode 3 of Hanamonogatari, and well, last episode, much to my chagrin, Kaiki is back, right? So all that time I spent complimenting, back in Koi, how this is a great sort of opening to everything, the opening sequence, and how Kaiki is actually running a double bluff on us and whatnot. Well, it turns out in the end it wasn't all that complicated. He was just kind of exaggerating things, right? Oh well. But in any case, I do still enjoy his character, so I guess it's nice to see him back. However, where does that leave us with this current arc, right? Still not really sure where it's going. The only reasonable guess I have right now is that Numachi, her situation might have been caused as a result of Kanbaru and her wishing over the aberration monkey's paw / whatever it is. And, it's not, of course, it's just a guess, but it kind of makes sense, right? And it falls in line with what has happened in the past as well. So perhaps that is the key to concluding the entire situation. Beyond that, though, we still got the situation with Ogi and whatnot, and Kaiki, and, well, I should just stop talking and let's just get into the episode, shall we? Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh. Okay, so now it's from Numachi's point of view? What? The hell? Half the truth, eh? Okay. Yeah, I don't understand anything at all. Are we supposed to have guessed all this? I like to consider myself as relatively smart, but honestly, for the Monogatari series, I feel like a lot of things just happen, and I'm just like, what? I mean, but that's probably part of the reason why I enjoy Monogatari so much, is in that I can't really predict what's going to happen, right? The unpredictability is part of what it makes it so entertaining. Like, even all the way back to Bake, when I was like, whoa, I never realized that we were actually going to have this, like, very, supernatural filled and even, like, really bloody fights and all that. I'm just kind of thinking about what they said about Kaiki there. I didn't quite catch every single monologue that they had. But basically, Numachi was like, Oh, Kaiki is like the neutral third party who doesn't have a preference toward either side. I would have thought that was more of an Oshino kind of role, though. The one who keeps the balance? Oshino? Is it actually Kaiki? So is your leg okay now? Okay, I guess her leg is okay. Ooh, nice head fake. Ooh. Rejection! And a fadeaway. I mean, considering she just got her arms back, it should be pretty hard for her to get, to get in rhythm. We already saw last episode she was kind of unbalanced. There we go. But in any case, Numachi's leg seems to be okay. Us? Okay, this is a smart girl. I do find it kind of funny that she keeps calling her Kanbaru Senshu, which is basically player. So their connection is still all the way back onto the basketball court. Okay, so I guess the opening is really just Ooh. Ah? There's probably a certain subset of the fan base getting really, really, really excited right now. She's like, gotcha. I mean, it's just a kiss. Ooh, holy shit. I guess that's her wish. How are you able to do that? Well, obviously, practicing the dark arts, if anything. Right, so she's been collecting all the different parts, eh? In the opposite way. Well, because you had good DNA, you had good genes. Huh. This is kind of a surprising and wholesome kind of outlook. Wow. Yeah, that's a surprisingly wholesome outcome of all this. Sure. A stress fracture. But a stress fracture is something that you can come back from. Where are we going with all this? Really? It was that? I mean, if there's nothing genetically wrong, a stress fracture should have been something you could come back from. You can strengthen. Once again, though, you know, any... Right. I think this really ties in perfectly with what I've been saying so far about how this is a sort of coming of age, one big coming of age story. Not just, you know, this arc in particular, but the entire series. Right. Okay. Things did turn better. So what actually happened there? Okay, that's good and all. How does that relate with your leg becoming the monkey's limb? I mean, technically it's for the good of everyone, isn't it? Right. Right, you haven't even got to the important part. Okay. I mean, she's already way too far into the world of aberrations at this point. Well, okay. I guess. Kind of interesting. I'll see you guys after this. Okay, so 3 episodes in, and I think things are much more straightforward than I was expecting. Right, at the opening there, I was thinking of some darkness in regards to Kanbaru or whatnot that we haven't really got to yet, but apparently that's not the case. Right now, then again, there are 2 episodes left, so we could still have a twist or something. But so far, nothing really suggests otherwise. So let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about Nimachi in particular. There's a few different points that I want to touch upon. So number one is in the entire thing that she's doing, right? Let's focus. Let's talk purely about what she's doing and the morality issues or whatnot of doing such things like that. What I'm talking about specifically here is, listening to other people's miseries, and for other people to be able to vent to her because they feel that she is in miserable condition herself. So it's easier to open up to her, and then from her side, getting to know other people's miseries, giving herself strength, and caring, sort of like a food for the mind, food for the heart, or something like that, to carry her over her dark periods of her time, right? Now, they're making this all to be very negative and all that, but if you think about it from a different perspective, isn't that what we all do? Right? Think about the popular saying, right? Count your blessings, or, when people keep saying hey, you need to be thankful of what you do have, there are people worse off than you, and so on and so forth. Isn't that the exact same thing? Right? There is a comparison here in order for you to feel better about yourself, right? And this goes both ways, right? And typically what's it used by? So for instance, if you're jealous of like the rich, like the 1%, or something like that, right? And you're be like, oh, life is so unfair, how come I can't be like them, and I want to have yachts and fly first class and yada yada yada. Then I assume that anybody who was actually on YouTube watching this, you should be, at least, if not well off, then at least able to get by with life, right? You obviously have access to computer, have access to internet, you most probably have a roof over your head, and you aren't starving or anything, right? Otherwise, you probably have other priorities here. So, in a way, you could also say that you are already more blessed than some more unfortunate people in third world countries, in places where corruption is rampant, crime is rampant, things of that sort. And, just by this basis of having this comparison, you're essentially doing what Numachi is doing here, except in a less explicit form, right? So I don't really have a huge issue with the morality or whatnot of all that, because I think it kind of turns into a perspective question. You could get all philosophical and all that, but I don't particularly see a problem there. Now, the next thing, of course, is in talking about what Numachi is, how should I put this? So the next thing is talking about Numachi's own situation here, like how she got to be this depressed and this miserable in the first place, right? So again, this ties back into something I've been sort of saying throughout these past few arcs already, and that is the fact that I think starting from the end of Bake, or was it in Nisei? Basically, my thinking that, the entire series really is a coming-of-age story and talking about the transition between adolescents and as they grow up and turn into adults, and all the various problems and whatnot that you face going through puberty, going through your teenage years, except very, very exaggerated, and the sort of outlet that it takes, right, the sort of shape and form that it takes is in these apparitions and all that, right? And so clearly here with Numachi's situation, I think it's kind of the same thing as well. So this might be kind of harsh to say, but really it's not the end of the world if you break a leg, right? Sure, I know you had a good scholarship, you liked basketball, you love basketball, and for some reason or another you can't play it anymore, even though, once again, I don't think a stress fracture is exactly something, is exactly a career-ending injury for someone of the, I don't know, high school level or whatnot, or the mid school level. But sure, fine, you feel like it's the end of the world, right? You're literally like, what, 15, 16. It's not the end of the world. You got so much time in the future ahead of you. It's really all coming back to, once again, the sort of I think such as like Hanekawa situation, such as like Sengoku situation, and so on and so forth, and heck, even to a certain extent Senjugahara's situation, right? It's really not the end of the world. You can still live a fulfilling and complete life even without that. This is literally just, if you think about the average lifespan of people and whatnot, this is like, what, the not even a fifth right? Not even 20% of your life, it's not the end of the world. And, you know, just to add a little bit more weight to what I'm saying here, even though I don't think, you know, in case people are like, oh, Maverick, you're being so mean and whatnot. Look, I encountered the exact same thing as Numachi, alright? Well, probably not to that extent, but I was a fairly athletic guy back in my youth, I guess you could say. And I like playing basketball, I like playing soccer as well, you know, coincidentally. And, well, I tore my ACL, in high school. Well, I guess I kind of, it was just a tear, and then once I got to college and I continued pursuing these sports, well, it completely tore off, right? Sure, I had surgery, sure, I went into rehab and all that, but, let's just say, yeah, my leg was never the same ever since. Starting from that point, I've lived a more sedentary lifestyle. I mean, I still go out and you know, exercise and do sports and all that, but really not at the same level as I could before, right? So, you know, it's definitely a bummer, right? I still love to do sports. I still love basketball. I still love soccer. I skateboard. I snowboard. But, you know, I am limited by my leg now. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. There's so many more things in life to enjoy. You don't have to really, you know, put your entire life based on this one thing, right? Now, fine, I get it. The sort of empathy coming out of me is saying that, sure, at that point in life, it probably means the world to her, and I'm not taking any away from that, because that's at that point of the life, right? But definitely that is something that time will heal, right? And I'm not just talking about the literal healing of the leg, I'm talking about the figuratively as well, if, you know, her leg is truly you know, in a weakened state for the rest of her life. Sure, it kind of sucks. You know, there's so much more to life, right? So, I mean, again, I really do kind of feel like it's making like a big deal out of something that's that's just adolescence for you, right? So, not really too much else to comment on that. And then finally, the last part I kind of want to talk about is, so what exactly is this arc going to talk about, right? Like, what is the exact situation here? What are we facing? So I think we'll probably get more to that in the next episode once she talks about the actual devil and whatnot. I think at this point, right, if we again consider the precedents that we've had, with all the other girls as well, and how they encountered their situations, their aberrations, and eventually how they solved them. You know, it's basically right. It's all in the mind, right? It's all in the way of thinking. How did Kanbaru manage to get this monkey's paw on her, right? It was the feeling of envy and jealousy, right? So I would venture a guess and say that that's probably the same as what Numachi is going through right now. And once she drops the envy and the jealousy and stops feeling sorry for herself, probably the situation will be changed as well, right? Now, in Kanbaru's case, so this wasn't her actually getting rid of the arm, right? Is it going to be getting rid of? Hard to say, right? Because certainly the other girls have somehow found a way to internalize it. Well, maybe not Senjugahara, but Hanekawa and Sengoku have certainly found a way to internalize it. Actually, has Sengoku done it? Or is she truly just a normal girl now? Hard to say, right? So, I guess the jury's still out on Kanbaru's case, but at least in Numachi's case, my best guess right now is that it's a similar situation to Kanbaru, basically, and you know, the solution, the answer to this question would be the same as what Kanbaru went through. So I think that's pretty much what I want to talk about in this episode. The rest, well, I mean, it was a lot of talking, and a lot of interesting visuals as well, so at least that's a good thing. Still kind of disappointed I didn't really get to, you know, I couldn't quite predict how the story was going to go once again, but hey, I do, actually, let's leave that as a closing thought, right? How many of you guys have actually managed to predict what's going to happen in an arc, or for instance in this arc, based on what we've been seeing so far and without knowing anything about, you know, what was actually going to happen? I'm kind of curious, right? If maybe there are some, you know, there is some secret tips that I can have, like there are some places where I need to pay more attention to in order to truly deduct this kind of story. Because I just find it to be fun, right? Anyways, that's it for episode 3 of Hanamonogatari. I will see you guys next week as well. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.